Hi guys, it's me, Cheyenne with Shine Athleisure. We are back again. This is the first video of our health series, and we have Jackie here.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacqueline Hedden. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, board certified orthopedic specialist in physical therapy, and a strength and conditioning specialist. So I have a background working as a physical therapist for I think about 9 years now, and I've worked in lots of different areas of physical therapy, from sports clinics and health and wellness clinics to working with every branch of the military and even volunteering at the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
It was really cool.
So like Jackie said, she is a physical therapist and a personal trainer. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and how that works?
Sure, absolutely. So as a physical therapist, I think a lot of people picture physical therapists doing a lot of injury recovery, and that is a lot of what I do. As a physical therapist, I do help a lot of people recover from injury. But that's not the only thing that I do. As a physical therapist, I definitely enjoy focusing on more of the injury prevention side of things and the education side of things. So I like working with my clients and helping them to understand how the human body works, what's going wrong, and how we need to fix it. And that ties well into the personal training side of things, because that is usually not so much the injury side of things, but more so maximizing performance. And so as a physical therapist and personal trainer, I get to do the whole spectrum, which is awesome, taking people from injury all the way back to doing everything that they want to do and need to be able to do, including daily activities and sports, and maximizing performance. So I get to do a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. I think that's kind of one of the reasons that you're such a good person to interview for this type of thing, because here at Shine Athleisure we focus a lot on wellness, but physical wellness is a huge part of being well overall.
Absolutely.
So how do you think, Jackie, that people can fit physical fitness into their lives, and why is it so important?
That's a great question. So we all tend to be very busy, and I think that's one of the main reasons why physical fitness kind of falls by the wayside. So finding ways to fit physical fitness into daily activity is hugely important. And that really depends on the person and the schedule and what that person has going on. So if going to the gym and working out on a regular basis isn't feasible, it's finding something that is. And that can be very different for different people. So it could be waking up and doing a 15-minute yoga video in the morning or before bed to help you sleep. It could be doing a high-intensity interval training, a HIIT workout, 10 minutes before taking a shower. It could be walking your dog instead of letting your dog go out in the backyard. It could be actually running and playing with your kids instead of just taking them to the playground and letting them run. So it really depends on the person and what each person has going on, but it's finding those things that fit into daily life. At the end of the day, physical fitness is really just movement. So being able to move more can really make changes in the long term.
I think it's hard for people because they think it has to be like this really big, like I went to the gym, I sweated for 7 hours, like I lost my body weight in sweat. But really it is super simple things like, hey, you took your dog on their daily walk, or took my kids and we all ran around the playground and played. And I think that can be a mental block for people instead
Absolutely.
of, just get out there and do what you can, a walk, 10, 15 minutes of yoga, something where you're moving your body so that you are getting some kind of exercise in. And do you think that needs to be a daily thing? What do you say in terms of how many times people should be moving their body a week?
That's a great question. It really depends. It depends on the person and the goals. If someone's trying to train for a marathon, absolutely. Doing something every day, not necessarily running every day, but training, working on the body, recovering, those things can look different on a daily basis, but movement in general is great on a daily basis. But again, it doesn't necessarily need to be high intensity every day. It can be high intensity one day. It can be 10-15 minutes of just gentle yoga and stretching or foam rolling, things like that. So it really depends, but consistency is something that makes a really big difference in the long term.
And I think you said something important there, recovery. Like recovery days are extremely important. Why is that?
Because we're human, and our bodies aren't meant to work super hard day in and day out. Our bodies need to recover. When we work our bodies, especially, for example, strength training, when we're strength training, that soreness that we get afterwards, that's our body recovering and trying to build our muscles stronger so that next time you go to work out, they are stronger and they can do a little bit more. And that's a process that works over time. And without that recovery process, if you don't take rest days here and there as part of your workout routine, then the body can't do that recovery process and build those muscles stronger, so you're not actually helping yourself to attain those goals.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Jackie, you have your degree in physical therapy. How did that change your thoughts about physical fitness?
So, as a physical therapist, I do work a lot with people who are injured and who are recovering from injury, and so that's something that the injury prevention side of thing is something that is super important to me with regards to fitness. I think a lot of people subscribe to the mentality of no pain, no gain, which I think people run into issues with, because pain is really, in most cases, it's the body's way of letting us know when something's going wrong. It's the warning light, if you will.
Yeah, check engine light.
Exactly. And so if we ignore that, we might be able to get away with it for a little while. But if we repetitively ignore that warning system that our body has for a reason, then we usually end up, or oftentimes can end up, running into injury. So instead of the no pain, no gain mentality, I prefer to listen to the body. Because like I said, it's a warning light. Pain, tightness, soreness, things like that can be good things, can be bad things. And if we learn to listen to our bodies, then we can really be able to maximize our fitness, maximize our health and wellness, and work with our bodies instead of pushing our bodies to do things that they're not quite ready for.
Yeah, I love that, because I think you want to keep progressing, and if you do get injured, that really sets you back quite a ways, and it can feel discouraging. It can really throw you off of whatever wellness, fitness journey you're on. So I think I do a lot of yoga, and they always say, listen to your body. If it starts to hurt, you need to take it back a notch,
Exactly.
So I love that mentality. That's awesome. And that's been great information. So I did want to also ask about stretching. I think it's super important to incorporate stretching into your daily routine, not just for physical fitness, but just for life in general. Could you talk a little bit about the different types of stretching and when we should use it?
Absolutely. So stretching is something that it can be very beneficial for just about everyone. Technically it depends, because there are some people who are super stiff who need a lot more stretching, but there's also people on the other end of the spectrum who are hypermobile, who are very, very loosey-goosey is I think the term that a lot of people will use. So those people may not need as much stretching, but we all do tend to have areas that are tight and that can benefit from stretching. So stretching can be very beneficial. There's different types of stretching. So there's static stretching, which is you get into a position, you feel that stretch on the muscle, and you hold it there for 20-30 seconds or something like that.
I think that something that could be an example of that is like if I stood and I crossed my arm and I held it, I'm not moving, but I'm still stretching the muscles, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Then the other main type of stretching is active stretching, or active movements. Some people will think of them as like form runs people will do before going for a run, where you're doing different movements that almost exaggerate or mimic the movements that you're going to be doing for that workout. So those are great warm-up type of stretches or mobility movements, warm-up. There's so many different names for it. But those can be super beneficial too. But I think overall with stretching, what's most important is doing it on a regular basis, again, like we've talked about, to get that long-term benefit, but also incorporating it into your workouts. So you can do it before you work out as part of your warm-up routine. You can also do it at the end of a workout as part of your cool down to help settle things down after a workout. There's lots of different ways to incorporate it. You can also do yoga tends to be a lot of stretching postures, and so I like to personally do that in the morning when I first wake up, just to kind of help get me up and moving and going for the day. Or sometimes I'll do it before bed just to help kind of settle things down and end the day. So there's lots of different ways that you can incorporate stretching and movement into the day. And again, kind of like we were talking about, it's really just finding what works for you.
And being consistent about it.
Exactly.
So you're talking about the long-term benefits of stretching. What do you think some of those long-term benefits are?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, it really depends on the person and what the goal is with the stretching. If you're doing just the active stretching before a workout, for example, one of the goals would be just to improve your ability to maximize the workout, which long-term obviously would be getting the benefit of the workout. If you're one of those people who's naturally a bit more stiff, long-term stretching can improve flexibility. And that's something where, again, we'd have to be consistent with the stretching, doing it over a long period of time. The long-term benefit that you'd see would be being able to move a little bit easier.
More effectively do your workouts, because a lot of people like to do, lifting weights. You get more range of motion when you're a little more flexible, and it helps your body. Stretching beforehand helps prepare it to do these hard things.
Exactly.
Okay, and we're talking about stretching. So you mentioned the two types: passive, which is kind of standing, stretching one muscle at a time, versus active, which is moving and giving movement to your stretches before you start a workout. Now, if you're going to do a high intensity or a hard workout, do you recommend a passive stretch or a active stretch?
And that's a great question, and that's actually a question that is kind of debated in the health and wellness world. The difference between static stretching and active stretching, and when to be doing which one. I remember back when I was in elementary school in PE class, we used to do static stretching all the time. And over the years, especially recently, there's been a lot of research that shows that static stretching before workouts can actually be not as beneficial as, or possibly detrimental to the workout. So I think what a lot of people recommend these days, and what I prefer as well, is doing more of the active stretching before workout, especially if it's going to be a high intensity type of workout. Again, as always, it depends on what you're going to be doing and what the goal is that you're trying to accomplish. But if the workout is going to be more of an active, high intensity type workout, I think doing movements that will mimic the type of activity that you're going to be doing is hugely beneficial. So for example, if you're going to be doing a very intense strength workout and you're going to be planning on moving a lot of weight, doing some of those movements with lighter resistance or no resistance at all, just going through the movements, waking up those muscles, getting them moving in the way that they're going to be used during the workout can be very beneficial.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think sometimes people think they have to start with some kind of weight, and I think really moving the body with no weight is really great, because it's like, hello body, we're going to start using these muscles, get ready.
I like to use the term that we're waking things up. But that's exactly it. We go oftentimes from, especially if we have a 9-to-5 job and you're sitting at a desk for long periods of time, or standing at a desk for long periods of time. Either way, we're in one position for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden we drive from work to the gym, and we're ready to completely change the way that we're using our muscles. Our muscles appreciate having the opportunity to ease into those types of activities. So helping your body out will let it help you out.
Exactly. That's the importance of stretching. Okay, awesome. So in this interview, we've been talking a lot about how much it depends, because everybody's in a different place with their body and they have different goals on what they want their body to do. So one thing that I think I want to get across to people is listening to your body is really one of the most important factors in physical fitness, right?
Yeah, so that's something that I was telling you before. This is one of my philosophies as a physical therapist, is listening to the body. We talked earlier about the no pain, no gain mentality. I hear that so often, and I know it's a common phrase used, but it really promotes ignoring your body. Your pain is your body's way of letting you know something's going on, and using the no pain, no gain thought process really pushes you to ignore those warning symptoms, and that can be problematic. So I'm a big proponent of listening to your body and learning to, and it is a skill that you need to learn, to listen to what your body's trying to tell you is going on. And that's learning, the differences between being tight, being sore in a good way, like you just worked out, or sore in a bad way, like, hey, my knee's really kind of aching right now. I probably shouldn't go for a 5-mile run or a 10-mile hike or whatever it is. So just learning to listen to what your body's trying to tell you and adjusting what you're doing depending on what it is that it's telling you.
That's great advice. I love that. If somebody wanted to seek out someone who can help them kind of learn those things, what would you suggest?
And there's a lot of different types of practitioners who can help with that. And I'm biased. I'm a physical therapist and a personal trainer, so I know that's obviously my background and my specialty, and what I really enjoy doing. So physical therapists, personal trainers are really big on that. Yoga instructors, we were talking earlier about how yoga instructors are big on promoting listening to the body and things like that. But there's lots of different practitioners out there, and there's also lots of resources online that can help with that. But it's really just finding someone in your area or online who can help with the questions that you have.
So thank you for all that really great information. What is one thing that you think people can implement in their lives or at home that's going to make the biggest impact for their physical fitness?
The single most important thing I would love for everyone to take away from this is consistency, and how consistency impacts health and wellness, and specifically fitness. With working out, you can work out here and there, and every little bit counts. But unless you're working out consistently, you're really not going to see the impacts of it in the long term. And I think that's where a lot of people will lose motivation when they don't see the changes that they're looking for. And when we lose motivation, then we fall off the workouts. So being consistent with working out, and it doesn't have to be every day like we were talking about, but working out overall consistently a few times a week. Those workouts can change, and again, they don't have to be a specific type of workout, going to the gym for X amount of time. It can be whatever fits into your activity and into your life. Being able to fit those things into your daily routine and doing it on a regular basis is what's going to maximize being able to improve your fitness level and be able to do the things that you want to be able to do on a regular basis.
And I think that ties into really just consistency in life, right? Like if you want to reach your next wellness goal, your next physical goal, anything like that, you have to be consistent overall. That doesn't mean we don't have days where we're off, or that doesn't mean we don't have days where we rest, because that's important, but really consistency in your nutrition, consistency in your sleep patterns, consistency in your physical workouts. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Sure. Well, so I look at that as having a base level of fitness. And we're here in Colorado, so we're both very active. We like to go hiking and do different types of outdoor sports. So having a base level of fitness, for us, that would be being able to be fit enough, well enough to be able to, when summer rolls in, to be able to go for a hike, or in the winter, be able to go skiing or snowboarding. Being able to have that base level of fitness is super important, so that when we want to go and do other things that aren't necessarily part of our routine, we're healthy enough and well enough to be able to do that with a much less likelihood of getting injured doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is because when you have a base level and you go do things that are out of your regular routine, your body's muscles and your joints are prepared to do a little bit crazier stuff, right? Because it's when they're not prepared and you try to overstep a little too much and you pull your hamstring because you hadn't stretched it recently. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that's super important. So consistency in life. It's not the first time you've heard this message, I'm sure, but it's just really try to implement small things into your day that are achievable for you, and before you know it, you're going to be doing a lot bigger things.
Exactly.
Okay guys, thanks for coming here today and listening to our interview. My name is Cheyenne again. My company is Shine Athleisure. We provide athleisure wear, but our brand is really focused on overall wellness, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring Jackie on, because physical fitness is a huge part of being well overall. So thank you, Jackie. She's got some big things planned in the future, so keep a lookout, and we'll probably even have more videos in the future. So if you love this one, subscribe and come back for the next one. Thanks.